Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. G'day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrate to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side so once we have all the updates and news, be the first one of getting all the insight. Now, recently I've conducted a seminar and I've received numbers of questions where I have answered numbers of times. So I decided to put this answer to this video as well. So obviously you have read the title. It's all about getting an employment, getting a job in Australia while you're overseas, meaning that you're offshore, you're not in Australia. How can you get a job in Australia? Now, why is this question so important and has been recently being coined frequently? Because the change of the employment sponsorship visa is going to be taking effect from 1st July 2023. It's an exciting moment where they are going to abolish the requirement of the labor market testing thing. That's a LMT. There's no longer for employer to to put 3 job advertisements. Can you understand? Can you get over that? Why would you need to put 3 job advertisement? I mean, a general small medium-sized business will only put 1 job advertisement to see for a position, but immigration requirement regulations until today, you're required to put 3. It's just crazy. So they're going to remove that, and also they're going to push up the threshold for the income to up to 70,000. So and also they're going to remove the occupation list. So there's no longer occupation list as long as you can get. Obviously, there's going to be other requirement, and we're going to pending on the upcoming regulations on the 1st July. So as long as you can get a job in Australia, an employer giving you a job offer and the income, the salary is above 70,000, you're likely to get a visa. Now, once you get a visa, the new requirement is 2 years later, you get a permanent resident pathway. So that's perhaps the reason why there has been so many people wanting to seek for perhaps an opportunity of getting a job in Australia. So that's going to be under subclass 4A2. Obviously, today is we're still on the 30th of May 2023, not even July yet. So what we are looking at this point, the visa on the subclass 4A2, it's still the old law. So I'm not going to bother to go through all these one, but I'm going to answer the question how you can actually get a job while you're overseas. Obviously, that's a very hard thing to do. Now, first of all, you got to think about this, not just in Australia, even if you in your home country, whether it's going to be in, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, India, whichever the country they're from, right? Indonesia. Now, if you're an employer and you're looking for a job position, you wanted to offer a job for people to come into work, obviously you're local, right? Now, just giving an example, if you have received hundreds resumes and numbers of them are not from local, they are actually with the nationality with other countries' nationality. By means that person, he or she, is not locally at where you at. Now, how would you think about that? Sometimes we gotta put on our shoes, just pretend that we are the employer as well. We are the boss. We are looking to hire people to work. Now, what is your preferences? Is your preferences to hire locally, or is your preference to hiring people who are overseas? Obviously, that will require very common sense. That will require some visa complications. Whichever the country that you're in, the immigration law is always complicated. So, of course, it's gotta be hard. It's gotta be hard for someone who is actually offshore to actually obtain and success job offers. So, but there's obviously some some ratio that people has successfully got them, but those one are predominantly for a global international company transfers. For example, if you I've got the guy who had been working in Microsoft somewhere else and been transferred to Sydney, so obviously you get that visa, or some global international company, Japanese global 500 top company like Mitsubishi and things, and they are transferring you from your original post to Adelaide, for example. Obviously then you can actually get that jobs. That offer will be taken plus the visa, and you actually be relocated. Now, other than this kind of scenario, I will say it's gonna be very, very hard for someone just trying to nail, for example, finding a local cafe, restaurant, and you can tell them you have 20 years of restaurant managing and you're fluent in English, but if you're not local, what do you think that cafe restaurant owner, would he or she actually hire you from overseas? That's gonna be hard. That's gonna be very, very hard. Now, and that is the factual scenario that I wanted to give to all of the viewer today. So finding a job is actually very hard. So how can we overcome that issue? I think the best way is obviously you got to be in Australia. Right? You got to be in Australia, and that is why now it's not a mandatory that you're taking a path to actually study abroad and take a university course or diploma course to come to Australia. Now, mainly to find a job. I don't think that will be the right way of how you plan ahead. I think for a natural growing career profile, you should be seeking for some degree or courses that can actually enhance your career, and plus you have opportunity in Australia to actually find an employment as well. So that will be a much healthier way to plan ahead, not thinking just to get whatever the cheap student visa and then trying to find an employer and sponsor elsewhere in Australia. I think that will be disappointing if you cannot find an employer or cannot find a satisfactory employer and stay in Australia. Then you're probably thinking you have been wasting all the time, wasting all the money. I've got a lot of viewers leaving comment. They have been burned throughout those kind of process. I think it's due to how they perceive and how they perceive their future should be by ways of how they are planning a couple years ago, but at the end they did not get there whatever the result that they planned had. So they got burnt. They got burnt out. Okay, now last thing before this end of this video, I would like to say something in regards to finding a job. Obviously, for the new upcoming policy, to get a job offer will almost guarantee you to get a permanent residency in Australia as long as you work 2 years and you have a salary of 70,000 above. Now, how easier can you actually obtain those jobs? Now, as an Asian country, that including the whole entire Asia, the Central Asia, go all the way, India, Pakistan, all the way to Southeast Asia and to the East Asians, China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Japan, and Korea. As Asian culture, networking for an employee perhaps is not really a way of the culture. I think a lot of viewers will understand what I'm trying to say. But in a Western society, networking, despite this is nothing to do with the immigration law, but networking is a very, very effective way to get a good employment and get a good job. And also in a Western society, it's very, very important and very, very credential for you to have a good references. So if you understand how to network, and obviously I'm not here to teach you how to network, but you can search. There's going to be a lot of tons of YouTube video talking about how you could posture yourself to have a successful network, relationship and all that. I mean, in professional way. If you can understand and implement yourself and get yourself ready for that networking, preparedness, and get out there while you are an international student, study master or bachelor degree. Don't, after school, after uni courses, don't just stay at home and do whatever keep on studying. Numbers of networking occasions can be, for example, going out, meeting with friends, playing sports is a way to network as well. You get into the community, understand people, and people will give you good reference. Why you have a good reference? It's very, very positive in a Western society, in Australia community, to get a good employment as well. So don't just stay at home. I'm not telling you to go pub and party all the time, but Friday afternoon, Friday evening, go to a pub, meet some people. I mean, a healthy pub, not a unhealthy one. Obviously you meet a lot of these people. Sports event, go to rugby event, cricket. There's tons of those kind of events. What about musicals, right? Going to musical, join some. If you're good at music instrument, playing music, why not join some of those, perhaps a group or club and things like that locally. This will really enhance your future employment as well. As once you get the employment, what do you get? You get into the visa, right? You get into subclass 482. As soon as you can get subclass 482, you get that pathway 2 years into a permanent residency. So I've just got too many people inquire, how can I actually get a job? I think this video, half of this video probably not talking about visa at all, but I think this will be a very key way to actually enhance your profile and also your career lifetime in Australia. Anyway, should you have more question, query, more than welcome to leave comment right down below. Let's see you next video. Goodbye.